Good afternoon, Bob Rankin, Northeast Funding, and as we get ready to have spring come along and finally get rid of this winter, everybody's getting a little bit of cabin fever and wanting to get out there and start shopping for homes. But you want to get prepared first by getting pre-approved and pre-qualified. So we're going to talk a little about what exactly does that mean to be pre-qualified or pre-approved, because there is a big difference. The definition of success is when preparedness meets opportunity. So the ideal thing to do is get pre-approved, not pre-qualified. Pre-qualified means you told somebody what your income is, told them approximately what your credit score is. They may have even pulled your credit and they say you're approved for X amount of dollars. That's a pre-qualification. A pre-approval is just that. Your loan is approved subject to finding the right property. At Northeast Funding, when we pre-approve you, we sit down with you, go over your credit score, go over your income, and go over exactly what you're approved for. We actually run it through our system, through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to get you an actual approval. So when you leave our office and you have a pre-approval letter, that says, yes, we've gone over your income because we physically have seen your income, we've gone over your credit report, we've gone over your income and your bank statements to show what assets you have. So when you make an offer on that home, the people selling the home know you're good to go. But the last thing you want to have happen is have it halfway done and then have your heart broken because you don't get that home. So make sure when you're sitting down with somebody that they go over all your assets and all of your income. The pre-approval is based on a few things. First and foremost, your credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate is going to be and vice versa. The debt ratio is very critical. What you're qualified for and what's comfortable are often worlds apart. You know, when I was growing up, they said your house payment shouldn't exceed 25 to 30% of your gross income. That's just as relevant today as it was back then. If you have your house payment going to 40, 45% of your income, you're not going to stay in a home very long, and you're not going to be staying married very long. So don't just look at what your friends have, what the Joneses, remember it used to be called keeping up with the Joneses? The biggest secret is the Joneses typically can't afford it either. You don't want to fall into that trap. So again, credit score is very important. Going over your income, going over your assets. If you were to say, Bob, I've got $20,000 in the bank to go towards a home, and I say, what else do you have? And he said, nope, just the $20,000. I'd say, no, you don't have $20,000 to go to a home. You might have $10,000 or $12,000 at the most. Why? Because there's now no longer a landlord to call if you have repairs to be done. You need to have a cushion so if you run into any challenges, any issues, you have that money to take care of the repairs. That's critically important. Another thing to look for is what are your payments going to be, including your taxes and insurance. Keep in mind, here in New York State, we have some of the highest property taxes around. The biggest impact on your payment isn't necessarily the price, it's the taxes. For every $1,000 in taxes, it's going to increase your payment $84 a month. Conversely, for every $10,000 in value, it's about $50, $55 a month. That's why getting back to whoever you choose to go through, whatever mortgage company you choose to go through, a mortgage broker, it's critical that you've got their cell phone number. Why? If you're looking at a home on a Monday night or a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon, you want to be able to reach out to that loan originator you're working with. Say, hey, look, I'm looking at a house. This is the price. These are the taxes. What's my payment going to be and how much money do I need to come up with? That's very important. Another thing to think about is seller's concessions. It's part of every purchase contract, but what it really means with seller's concessions, you're actually financing a percentage of that purchase price to cover your closing costs or your prepaids on your escrows. So for example, on a conventional loan, it allows you to have 3% seller's concessions, FHA 6%, and a VA loan 4%. So if a $200,000 home with 6% in concessions, that's $12,000. That's going to change your payment about $60 a month. So the question is, what's easier for you to come up with? $12,000 or $60 a month? Kind of a no-brainer, right? This is Bob Rankin, Northeast Funding. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll have some more updates in the near future.